Roll the other way. Really nice. Pilots, welcome back to the CCRC flying field in Cobb County, Georgia, and today we're going to be flying the 1100mm FlightLine FW-190. Now this baby's been on the market a little while, but like all our other 1200mm arranged warbirds, we have a couple between 1100 and 13. This happens to be an 1120mm wingspan on the FW-190, but they are all still amazing performers. So this baby runs on 4S. That's what you're going to want to fly it on. I wouldn't try it on 3S or whatnot. It's got the power and it likes that 4S pack. I have a 3000 milliamp up front. So you can see I have it pressed as far forward as it goes. I believe this is the oldest of the FlightLine birds. So this had the tightest canopy space to work with as opposed to the Bearcat, the Spitfire, the Sea Fury, or the even the LA7, which is a shorter wingspan, had more canopy space, but the 3000 is a perfect fit, pushed all the way forward. It's a perfect CG in here, and I do have an Admiral Stability Plus gyro in combo C mode, so I can turn it on and off, and that is tucked away in the back corner behind the battery. So again, canopy just latches on, no problems, but it's got some really nice scale detail on this FW-190. Plastic on the exhaust, you got plastic for the machine guns. You get 4 machine guns and the pitot tube. Out on the side, 2 machine guns above on the canopy there. Detail inside the cockpit. They got stickers inside the canopy, which is nice. And then it comes with 4 different liveries that you can choose from. This was the most basic livery, but again, I like to be a bit contrarian, so I went with that one. I thought it looked a little meaner when it was mostly black on the fuselage, not with a bunch of colors or anything. But the last sticker that they gave me that I didn't do yet, they give you the spiral for the nose. I didn't get a chance to sit there because it just takes a little time to get it perfect. I wanted to get out and fly today to meet the weather, so I just ran out of time decaling her up last night. Now, as far, again, CG we talked about, 3000 pack all the way forward, and as far as throws, what I'm going with and what I've gone with on all of these, I take whatever the book high rate is and I lower it by 2 millimeters on my elevator and my ailerons, and then whatever the book low rate is, I lower it on 2 millimeters there as well. So I'm a little lower than the low and a little lower than the high on my rates, and I use high rate elevator for takeoff, and then I'm mostly in low rate everything when I fly around my warbirds. So that'll do it for me talking, guys. Let's go take her for a flight. All right, pilots, so again, I am on high rate on the elevator. Let me walk her up a little bit so Alex can see. Alex, that's my high rate setting. That is my mid, and that is my low on the elevator. So that's pretty good at keeping the tail down. It hasn't faulted me yet flying any of my warbirds, and that's just, you know, I think it's a good way to go when you're taxiing. And this one, I didn't notice anything tough about taxiing her out. The LA7, people said was a little squirrelier than all the others, but the FW-190 feels just like the Spitfire or the Bearcat. I think she felt really good. And the only thing I didn't say in here, make sure you check out the build video. It does obviously come with the scale drop tank that's hanging, that's just screwed in, and it's a 6-channel aircraft, guys. So you're getting throttle, rudder, elevator, aileron, flaps, and the landing gear. I forgot to show the gear in the front. I'll do that at the end. Alex, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll be taking off right to left. It's pilot's choice with the wind, but it's starting to come in from the left anyway, so I'll be taking off into the wind. And again, just gonna start feeding the throttle, stay on the rudder. Once she gets up to speed, pull back a little bit, and look at that, she's out of dodge. So now I notice we're starting to get windier today, so above those treetops, she's probably gonna get beat up. I've got the Admiral gyro on, and I have it on a gain switch. I didn't get a chance to really get it dialed in. So you'll see the plane get knocked around a little bit, but either way, that power is nice. Woo! I'm gonna switch to low rate. That was on high rate. And you can see when you have high rate elevator on a warbird, guys, she could get really pitchy. Any warbird for that matter. You don't want that much elevator authority. I use it for takeoff and I just forgot to turn around. So let's try that again. And also that drop tank too probably isn't helping with my drag. We're gonna go vertical. Woo. Bring her down and around. Bring her in. Now I'm gonna roll over the field. Nice. Roll the other way. Really nice. I know a lot of guys are big on the German warbirds. How could you not be? They also have their own iconic looks. Indeed, it gonna come up and around. Split acid or cubinated. Sorry, I always confuse those two. Let's go again. We are playing with the wind, playing in the wind. That Admiral gyro, I have the gains pretty much turned all the way down. I'm not even really playing with it. Let me see if it's doing anything. I just switched off the gyro at this point, so let's see if it does any difference. You know, one thing about the Admiral gyros, takes a flight or two just to get them dialed in, and it's something that you'd want to change depending on the weather out there anyway. You may want to add more gain, so that's why it's great that they have it. They have the remote master gain on your knob. I think that's G on the Spectrum, but I can't really check while I'm in the air. So now I'm going to slow her down. Let's drop the gear, and we're going full flaps, and she'll balloon up on you. I was going too fast there, but for an 1120 millimeter warbird, I had flown the LA-7. The LA-7 doesn't like the slow speed, but the FW-190 feels much more predictable when it has the flaps out at a slower setting. So I am just at 50% throttle here, and I'll come by for a better dirty pass for Alex. So I won't balloon, and look, she is just nice and easy. That is full flaps. Let me get rid of my flaps, get rid of the gear, and we're out of Dodge. So you could put in some sort of elevator to flap mix if you want. The book doesn't call for anything, and I did not get a chance to check the Hobby Squawk forums because I'm sure guys have been working on these forever, but I'm going at this like I never saw this product before in my life because I really hadn't. So I'm figuring out as I go. That's part of the fun of RC, isn't it? So let's bring it in for another big loop. Taking power out, we're gonna reverse it, turn it around. Nice. So now I think a touch and go's in order. Now when I do touch and go's, I don't use flaps. That's just me. I like to, you know, you're really just trying to, I'm trying to fly as low to the ground as possible when I'm doing touch and go's. I think I got a lot of speed. The two will stick and then get out of Dodge. That's one thing I love about this FW-190, much like the Bearcat. Once you stick those wheels to the ground, she will stay there, which is so cool. Now I've got a minute left, so I think I'm gonna try another one of those. I'm gonna try to bring her in and touch the runway a little earlier this time. But if you guys are looking for a German warbird, an FW-190, have a look at the FlightLine. Give it rudder and get out of Dodge. Look at that. Can't beat it. Bringing the gear back in. I think I'm gonna do a pass towards the camera, Alex, inverted, and then we're gonna bring her in for a landing. Inverted with the drop tank up. Here we go. Let's invert her. Ah, barely giving it any up. Woo! Spin it right out, nice. Now I'm at 50% throttle, so it's time to bring my flaps. You hear my timer. Oh, and she is definitely porpoising a little bit, so I'm gonna work on a mix. I'll probably come back and revisit a flight on this once I get her more dialed in. But now I'm about 50% throttle, guys. Bringing her in, nose down. Point that nose to the ground. I'm still at 50%. Now I'm gonna start easing back on the throttle. I've got the power I need. And sit her on the runway. Look at that. We'll take that landing any day of the week. Anytime I can stay on the CCRC runway, James is a happy guy. So I'm gonna taxi it back, and then we're gonna cell check it. And then we're gonna wrap this video up. And I also need to get Patrick out here because he's gotta fly the Spitfire while I fly the FW-190. But let's do cell check. Unplug. Unplug. And Boom. Just like the LA7, I am at 14%. Can you see that there?
Yep.
Let me go through the cells. So I can't see it, but I believe it's 3737. 375, 374, 375, 375. So I'm loving that. I could have had another pass or two. And that was pretty much mixed throttle usage, but I definitely opened her up from time to time. But that's a good flight on a 3000 Admiral pack. You're flying for 5 minutes, probably 6 or 7 if you're really going scale. But guys, it's hard to find anything to dislike about the FlightLine FW-190. She's a good-looking bird, painted nice, great finish like you'd expect from your FlightLine birds. Again, you get 6 channels, so you're getting the flaps. You're getting a lot of scale detail for the price, as opposed to some of the larger models. If the larger models, if the price scares you, if transportation scares you, then this is the range you guys should be in. There are a lot of great warbirds, and not even just from FlightLine. A lot of great warbirds out there in the 1100 to 1300 millimeter range, and we think this FW-190 is going to suit you guys well. So that'll do it for this video, guys. Check out the description of the video. I'll have a link to the Hobby Squawk forum for this bird, because again, owners have been on there for years dialing this plane in, so you're going to find tons of information there. Look out for the link to the build video. If you're just buying your FW-190, we did a step-by-step build to help you put it together if you need that help. And if you have any questions, leave a question in the comments of this video and I'll try to answer them at my best. But that'll do it here, guys, from a beautiful day at the CCRC. Thank you for joining Motion RC, and we'll see you for the next video.